Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Listen, welcome to your Connect groups. I am Pastor John. Here we're working with Pastor Tez on, the book we're dealing with. We're still here. We're in chapter 3 right now. Be anxious for nothing. And we're dealing with, welcome to our Connect Bible study groups. And one of the things we're dealing with being anxious for nothing is understanding how to overcome that anxiety that we've been dealing with. Now, last week, we dealt with rejoicing. And we're going to continue on rejoicing. We rejoiced last week in His sovereignty. Today we're going to be rejoicing in His mercy. Now, when you think about rejoicing in mercy, what is that? What is that? Let me think. Rejoicing in mercy is simply the fact that we should be happy that God's grace is more than sufficient. It is said, guilt frenzies the soul, grace calms it. Well, what does that mean? That means that oftentimes we've done things so much and we've made mistakes and we begin to let that stress us and cause anxiety and gives us bad temperament and makes us where we can't operate well with others to the point that we realize that we forget that God has forgiven us for it. I know I was driving one time and I was going kind of fast and I got pulled over and I got nervous and I was all this and I didn't understand and I knew what I did was wrong, but the whole thing of getting a ticket, and then all of a sudden God says, I got you. You got the money to cover the ticket. You're doing well. Hey, it happens. Why are you so tense and why are you so stressed? It's okay. Now, that being able to pay the ticket and everything, I get it. But then sometimes we come into a situation where God is back and say, you don't even have to do that. I got you covered. But you have to trust in me. See, that's where His grace and His mercy comes in. He says, I know you were guilty. I know you did it. But I'm going to give you a reprieve. Okay? Because you trusted in me and you're following my Son. And you've accepted Him. Now, we know this as believers, but the problem is we don't do that. We have this problem of holding ourselves into our own prison of our mind of guilt. How many of you right now are still holding on to something you did wrong 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Get over it. The reason you can't forgive other people is because you can't even forgive yourself. And God, listen, He's saying you can rejoice in His mercy because He's saying, listen, I'm not going to hold you accountable for it. You don't believe me? Look at the woman who was caught in act of adultery. He says, woman, where are thy accusers? Then I accuse you neither. Go and sin no more. We find the story of the woman that was at the well. And he told her, he says, I know you don't have a husband. He says, but you have four, but the one you have is not even yours. But He still had mercy and grace. The person said, listen, the dogs are even worthy of eating the crumbs from your table. But He said, because of your persistence, I'll bless you. See, we got to find ourselves in situations and realize that God is saying, as long as you trust me, I got you. And that is where we rejoice at. So today we're going to be talking about how we can rejoice in the grace of God. Those things that hold us captive. Those things that we feel that we're undeserving of. Because listen, until you free yourself from your mind, you can never free yourself in the kingdom. Your spirit can never be free because you're letting your mind oversee your spirit, which is overseeing God, and you'll never rejoice. So let's dig deep into this. I know your teacher's got some great things to discuss with you about, so you'll go deeper into it. This is your boy, Pastor John. Love you and be blessed.